Hello, everyone. It's Heidi with Downtown NorCal Live. And joining me just across the causeway from Davis is the owner of Water and Salt, Juan Chicas. Welcome, Juan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So I've never been to your business. It's a brand new concept to me. Can you tell our viewers what your business does, what it's about?
We're mainly a specialty water store. That is actually the main part of our business. And we basically have the system here in the shop set up for purifying the water and also for returning the minerals to the water to making it alkaline. And then we have even an additional system that makes a different type of water called deuterium depleted water. And what kind of like makes our water a little bit different here in the shop is that we have a water called all our water is actually what's called vortexed and magnetized. So it's actually a kind of system that is used in certain agricultural farms too to improve the growth of plants. It basically breaks down water molecules into smaller little clusters and organizes them into like small little hexagonal patterns, and it literally allows like molecules to penetrate like cell walls more effectively. So it improves plant growth rate, and it basically you're just returning water to its natural state. Is actually what happens with water when water is in constant movement. So that's really the biggest thing. We're just trying to return water to like what water was supposed to be, especially for us who live in cities where obviously the water is not as clean as we would like it to be.
And then there's the salt component. So describe that if you would.
So the salt is the other aspect of the store as well. And we'll head over there to check out the salt room. And obviously the reason we're called Water and Salt is because of the halotherapy room.
Wow.
And you can get a little tour right here of the salt room. There's chairs where basically people will sit in. The therapies last around 45 to 50 minutes. Halotherapy room isn't just consisted of the salt that you see all around. It actually has a machine on the outside of the room, and I'll show it to you guys as well. You can see it right there. It's called a halo generator. These machines, what they do is they literally take a pharmaceutical grade salt and they micronize it and they blow it into the air. So very tiny particles. And so you're literally breathing the salt in the room, and the small particles will get into your airways and your respiratory tract, and it helps to break down bacteria and pollutants in your lungs. It's kind of like a lung cleanse. It's a natural way to help strengthen your lung health. So people generally make appointments 2 to 3 times a week, usually, if they have really bad allergies, asthma, breathing problems like sleep apnea as well. And it's also really good for your skin. So a lot of people that have like eczema and things like that also like that. So you can actually wear like shorts and wear like a tank top if you want to be in here, if you want to expose more of your skin to it as well.
So small businesses everywhere have had new challenges and restrictions. And as I understand it, your salt room has had to temporarily shut. Is that correct?
That's correct. Because we're only allowed to have so many people in establishments right now, and we have to basically limit the amount of people in the store. This salt room was something that we had to shut down. And also on top of that, even though you could have a couple people in here, 6 feet apart, still at the same time, we're just going to wait until more restrictions are lifted in order to start using the salt room. So we'll just, we'll take our time and deal with it the best we can.
In addition to water and salt, you also supply supplements, nutritional supplements, I understand, and even some...
We do. That's pretty much the core part of the business, is really just, overall like health and wellness. The water is the main part, but we have like all kinds of different things here. If I can make sure, bunch of like organic teas that we have like for wellness as well. They're blends of teas that are good for like your memory, for relaxing, liver, cleanses and things like this. And actually it's from a local company here in Sacramento called Star West Botanicals. They're local here to Sacramento, and they basically do all that kind of stuff, herbs, like, teas and like all that kind of stuff. And then we also have organic coffees. We carry a line of products for people that are interested like in keto products, plant-based foods, and all the nutrition and all the health products are up here on the shelves too. So these are basically all things that I use myself. These are the kind of stuff basically I give my parents. So like, wow. That's how I selected everything I selected everything in mind. Like if I were to select like a really good multivitamin for my mom and dad, what would I use? So over the years, I've actually been using a lot of these products myself, even, over the past like 15 years. So I like to work with smaller companies. Some of these smaller companies I work with are having challenging times too, because I do deal with smaller businesses as well. Even one of my essential oil line companies is going out of business, unfortunately, but it's just the sign of the times right now. We're trying to, work with, the suppliers as best as we can. And sometimes when you deal with small businesses, they're experiencing obviously more challenges than a lot of the larger manufacturers.
You make an excellent point about the supply chain, and that's an issue I'm going to be getting into as we go through the crisis, because that can only hang out there for so long before everything
Yeah.
starts to have the domino effect. So, what are the safety precautions you've taken to protect your consumers?
So, because of the coronavirus, obviously we had to make different changes in order, to basically keep an operation. And we're obviously enforcing the 6 foot distance between customers and the store. We have tape, everywhere and on the outside of the building, because we can't allow many people in the shop. We have to have lines formed outside for people who are coming in to fill up their water dispensers. The county has allowed us to continue in operation as long as we sanitize the stations after every single use.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a pretty large water station. We'll go over there and you'll be able to kind of see it.
It's a beautiful store.
And let me see if I can get it. There's the water station right there.
I
It's
see.
probably, yeah, it's a pretty good size. So we only allow one customer on each side filling up. If people come in with other family members, we ask them to wait outside. Only one person can be at the station filling up. And then with people who are coming in to order a coffee to go, or ice cream or shave ice, or a tea or a tonic to go, then of course everything is placed in to-go containers and they order here at the counter, and we only allow one person to come in to order. If they prefer, we'll take the orders outside and then bring everything to them outside as well. So, and then on the outside of the store, we have tape, separating, of course, everyone. And then we have sanitizer throughout the entire store as well, at the countertops, at the register area, at the water stations. And then we have sanitizer as they're waiting in line as well too, on the pumps. So there's sanitizer everywhere that they can use for everything that they need. And what else? And then outside, we have sanitizer for the carts, for people to use sanitizer before they actually bring the carts into the store as well. So just a bunch of different little things, but it's just, it is different than how business was before, but we're dealing with it. And fortunately, most of our customers, they don't have a problem complying with it. They're just appreciative of the fact that we're able to stay open.
Right. You're in a unique situation because you're in Yolo County, but in West Sacramento, you're right close, right, almost more connected to Sacramento, which is operating under slightly different restrictions. Can you talk about the masks?
Yes, it's a requirement here in West Sacramento to wear a mask. So it's a county order. I'll just show it to you right here. You can actually see it. I have it posted throughout the door in the store. I have it, in Spanish and English for everyone to read. So the county has ordered us to refuse service to customers who do not comply. So if they don't follow these rules, obviously they can't come into the store. So and like I mentioned, even on here, the rules that we're following, it doesn't necessarily affect, our views, our employees' views. We're just following the rules so that we can, comply. We can stay open. We can keep serving people. We're not trying to get political, or
Yeah.
we're not trying to talk about what our views are on the subject. We understand that we're living in sensitive times. Everybody has their own opinions and they have a right to them as well. But at the same time, we want to respect the people that are in the store and then just comply with everything and just So that's pretty much how we're doing everything here in the store. You have to wear a mask in Yolo County. A lot of my customers do come from Sacramento, so when they call on the phone, we make sure to let them know to bring their mask if they're coming in to fill up their water containers.
Good advice. Do you feel hopeful you can survive this crisis?
I believe that some businesses will be able to survive this, but unfortunately, I don't think that all businesses are going to be able to survive this crisis. Some small businesses are just not going to be able to make it. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, even some of my, smaller businesses that I deal with, they're already closing their doors.
Yeah.
And it's going to be unfortunate, but there will be people that make it in this crisis, and there will be businesses that don't make it in this crisis, especially for the smaller businesses. We already see the impact it's made on the restaurant scene here in Sacramento.
Yeah. And where would you position yourself in that prospect of surviving?
I think really a lot of it depends on people's own personal situations and circumstances too. Sometimes some of us perhaps might have been more prepared for something like this because of our own personal finances, perhaps. And some people perhaps not. I think that's going to play a huge role, and perhaps some businesses. And my wife and I, we live like a super, super simple lifestyle. I think that's one of the reasons why we will probably be able to come out of this. But it was just kind of like my way of living. We've always lived like super, super simple. We have like a super tiny house. We have like zero expenses, hardly at all, and we don't have children. So that's going to make it a lot easier for us. And unfortunately, that's not everybody's situation. And it really stinks, but it's just kind of like the reality of how things are going to, go. Zocalo is building a restaurant right next to us down the street here on West Capitol. They've been around for a long time. They bought that building. They're probably going to be okay. They're a pretty well-established business, but they're probably still hurting, just like every other restaurant as well. But it's just going to kind of depend on the kind of capital that people have, that whether they're going to be able to make it or not.
Well, thank you for the intelligence. I happen to love Zocalo, so come out and see you both. I wish you well. I have been talking with Juan Chicas. He is the owner of Water and Salt in West Sacramento. Juan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
I conduct these interviews Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, so I hope to see you all tomorrow.